I met my partner when I was about 18 years old. Fell madly in love with him. It was a very intense relationship. It was like us against the world. I realised he had a bit of a temper, because if I made comments about any way that he'd ask me about the way he looked, and if I didn't say the right answer, he'd get really quite aggressive about it. The first time he hit me was like 3 months into the relationship, and it was an argument about a member of my family that he didn't want me to go and see them anymore. And to be honest, we bonded over our traumatic childhoods, which was like he had had a lot of violence that he'd witnessed in his childhood from his dad to his mum. So when he first hit me, I felt really bad for him. I felt like he was not well, or he needed help, and I thought I was the one to rescue him. As the relationship got on, because I stayed with him, I think that gave him a message that I was going to put up with this. And then other things started to come into the relationship, like he'd question how I was with money, and he wouldn't trust me with money. So in the end, I gave him my bank card and put him in charge of the money. And slowly I was like relinquishing all my liberties to him, because I thought I was keeping him, thinking that he was safe with me, that he would trust me if I did these things. The police were called on a few occasions, and the police asked me to make statements, which I was reluctant to do because I didn't want him to get into trouble. I wanted him to get help. As the relationship progressed, I was drinking, and I was drinking to block out or to numb the pain that I was in. And I found that the violence got worse because he was drinking as well, and the arguments got worse because I wasn't really thinking straight. I was in my own little world of being a recluse and trying to make this man happy, that everything I tried to do to make him happy wasn't working. So one night the violence was really bad. I thought my life was over. So I managed to lock myself in a room. I phoned the police. I think it was the third time they'd been round. And the police seemed a bit upset with me at the time. I was drinking. They sort of treated me like, oh, this keeps happening and you keep taking him back. And because of the alcohol that was involved, I think they thought I felt like I must deserve it because of the shame that comes with alcohol, and the shame that comes with domestic violence as well, because people think that you should just leave, that it's easy to just pack your bags and leave. But by the time that you want to leave, you've cut off everybody and all the help that you could have accessed maybe at the beginning. So I thought I couldn't leave, all my things were there, and I had no one out there that wanted me. But this time when he attacked me, I didn't want to feel like I was going to die this way. So the police were very firm with me and said, you make a statement and you tell us that you're going to go to court. We'll make provisions for you to protect you, and you have to see this through if you're going to stop this from happening. So I made the statement. I had a lovely police officer come round and reassured me basically that I would get help. They found a refuge for me to go to, which I went to, and I got a domestic violence volunteer who came, and she was going to help me through the whole court process. She came round to my house first, asked me what I wanted to do, and then she liaised with the court for me to go behind a screen or to have video. And they weighed up the dangers really of the anxiety for me, how much it would be like. So I was given the screen. I was really scared. I didn't have anybody, but I knew I had to make changes. I knew I had to make the change. The volunteer was really, really helpful. She took me to court, she took me in the back entrance so I didn't have to see anybody. And it's not like what you see on the television where you get cross-questioned. They're very pleasant to you in court. They realise how, what would you say, it's like a fragile situation it is. So when I had to give evidence, the judge was very kind to me. You have your statement that you read, so you don't have to get mixed up with the words. And yeah, so I got the court over with, which was the hardest part, to be honest with you. From the minute he was arrested as well, there was an indefinite injunction against him. They kept him on remand until the court case as well, because of what he had done. And then afterwards, the injunction is if he contacted me via himself or via any of his members of his family or friends, that he would get a custodial sentence for 5 years as well. So there's a massive deterrent in them contacting you again. He pled not guilty, but the judge found him guilty in court, and he was sentenced to 6 months in prison, which also frightened me as well, to be honest, because I was like, he'd be really angry about that. But the injunction really reassured me that I don't think he was going to be so stupid to then send himself to prison for another 5 years if he contacted me. And that's contacted me, not just himself, by anybody that he knew to contact me. And I had the voluntary domestic violence worker for a month after he'd been sent to prison as well, to give me like support and point me in the right direction. I also lost my home as well when I left this relationship and was in a refuge, and they assisted me to move out of the area because I didn't feel safe in the area, even though I knew that all these provisions had been put in place. I still didn't want to walk down the street and think I would bump into someone that knew him, because he had a family that didn't really think that what he was doing was wrong and kind of enabled him. So it took a little while. It took a couple of years of being there, but that helped me sort my life out. And you're offered courses that help build your self-esteem, because no one deserves for someone that they love, who they think loves them, like to hit them, push them, bully them, control their money or control their life. So there is help out there, and I got it. So now my life's completely on track. I'm not really looking for a relationship because I need to have a relationship with myself first and have firm boundaries in place before I get into a relationship again. But I've survived it and now I'm thriving. When I was in the relationship, I look back at it now, and I was someone who was very meek, very anxious and very scared. And the more time I spent by myself, and I have a very supportive daughter who has helped me enormously. Living by myself, my confidence started to come back. I started to believe in myself again. Before I met him, I was an ambitious person, I was a confident person, and I started feeling those feelings again. It made me decide that I was going to do something with my life, like I was kind of reborn. And since then, I've got my own home. My home is my safe place. My home never used to be my safe place, and now it is my safe place. And from there, I've built my life back. And now I got off alcohol, and since then I've just turned my life around. I'm now volunteering at Turning Point and looking for a career in recovery, and I just want to help people make the best of their lives and get the best what they want from their lives, because no one deserves to be hit by someone they love and someone who's supposed to love them.